Okay, so we're doing question 1F. First thing I want you to do is we're starting with adding and subtracting integers. One thing that will help is if you guys remember your rules for multiplying and dividing integers, okay? So I'm just going to put on a side here, quickly the rule. Positive times a positive equals a good. Negative times a negative, positive. Okay? And when they're opposite, so negative times a positive, negative. That's the only time we get a negative answer. Okay. So those are multiplication and division rules. So that's the M and D rules, okay? Now, we can actually use these to help simplify a question like this. If you guys notice, I have an operation, a positive, and a negative sign beside each other, and there's no number in between them. That can be confusing. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be simplifying so that there's always one operation between the numbers. Again, we have positive and a negative, right? So there's two operations, no number in between. Can be confusing. I'm going to use these rules to change every time that there's two operations beside each other into one operation. And what I mean by that is I have, for instance, a positive and a negative beside each other. If I go to the multiplication rules, a positive times, that's a negative. Negative times a positive is a what? A negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the question. So here's step 2. And instead of writing plus negative 10, I'm just going to replace it with subtract 10. So what I've done is I've combined the positive and the negative to become just one subtraction sign. This will help simplify the question. Now, if you're able to read this question and understand exactly what it's asking you, you don't need to simplify. That's fine. Go right ahead. But I'm showing you a way to simplify this so it's easier for you guys to look at. All right, so I'm going to continue writing the question. So now I have subtract 10. And again, I have a positive and a negative sign beside each other. So that's going to create just one negative. So it becomes 10 minus 12. There's only one operation, so I bring down minus 18. And then here I have a negative and a negative. That's going to create just one positive sign. So I have plus 14. So now when we look at the question, we read it as 32, subtract 10, subtract 12, subtract 18, plus 14. I feel like that says 1 frame per second. Okay, from there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continuously, because of bed mass, we go left to right, and everything's a positive, a plus or a minus sign. So I'm just going to work from left to right, dealing with the first two numbers at a time. So I deal with 32, subtract 10. What is it? 22. Good, 22. And I just bring down the rest of the question. Again, I work with the next first two. 22, subtract 12, 10. Bring down the rest of the question. 10 minus 18, negative 8. Good job, Michael. And 8 subtract 14, negative 8, sorry, plus 14. I read that completely wrong. Negative 8 plus 14, positive or negative? Good. Positive 6, just like you guys said before. Okay, so on 5C, we're going to have to follow our bed mass again. I'll write the rules out just in case you guys forgotten them. Do with the brackets. Then exponents. We don't have any exponents. Then division and multiplication. Those two work together. They just go left to right. So that's division or multiplying. And then adding. Nope, that's not an S. There you go. Adding or subtraction. So addition or subtraction. Those two are also, they work together, just whichever comes first, left or right. So when I take a look at this question, I have a set of brackets right up here, so I know I have to work with that first, okay? Now, I do have a bracket on the bottom, but because that bracket only has one number, it doesn't give it precedence. It's just it's separating it so that you guys know that it's a negative 18. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Negative 8. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with the first part of this question. Negative 16 plus 4. Negative 12. Good. Okay? negative 12. And if I want, I can keep it in the bracket with the number just itself, or, whoa, that is not what I want to do. I can leave it out of the brackets, okay? Whichever you like to do, whatever you're more comfortable with is fine. I'm left with, let's write the bottom too, 8 divided by negative 8 plus 4, okay? Now, what this is, this fraction here is actually a division sign. And what it's telling me is I want to solve the first part of the division question. So I want to get a number on top, and then I want to work with a number on the bottom. Okay? Maybe I leave it as a fraction in the end, or maybe I divide it in the end. But either way, we're going to work with the top separately and the bottom separately for now. So my top, I have negative 12 divided by 2. If we look at that, I have a negative and a positive. So according to my rules, what's our answer going to be? Negative. It's going to definitely be a negative. What is 12 divided by 2? 6. So I'm left with negative 6 over. Okay? I'll do this one step at a time also. 8, actually, you know what? Let's write it all out. Plus 4. Okay. So I've dealt with the top of the question. Now I'm going to go to the bottom. According to BEDMAS, I deal with the division part first. It says 8 divided by negative 8. What do we know that, first of all, because it's a positive and negative, our answer is going to be negative. And 8 divided by 8 is? Right. So we have negative 1 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 4 is good. Okay. Now, maybe it says to leave it as a fraction, and that's fine, but I also know I can definitely simplify this. This actually says negative 6 divided by 3. So I have a positive and a negative, again. According to my rules, what's my answer going to be? All right, so I can start with putting a negative. What is 6 divided by 3? 2. So our answer is negative 2. All right, this is question 2F. Now, this is the A2 part of your homework. This is where we're dealing with fractions. In order to multiply and divide them, it's simpler if we put things as improper fractions. Right now, these are mixed fractions. A mixed fraction has a whole number and a fraction, hence mixed. Improper fraction has a number on top. The numerator is larger than the denominator. So the number on top is larger than the number on bottom. We're going to create those types of questions, those types of fractions. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I need to multiply the denominator by the whole number in front, and then I need to add whatever is on top of the fraction, and that will become the new number on the top of the fraction. Okay? So, very, very first fraction, we have 4 times 6. What is that? 24. And 24 plus 1? 25. So don't worry about the negative sign for now. Just keep it as a negative fraction, and I have 25 over 6. The number on the bottom stays the same. Okay? So that's changing a mixed fraction into an improper fraction. We're going to do it again with the next question. Again, we know it's a negative. I'm just going to keep the negative sign. We're just going to worry about the numbers themselves. I have 7 times 4. 28, that's right. And then I need to add the number on top. Plus 3, 31. So our number on top of our fraction is going to be 31. And the denominator stays the same. It's going to be 4, just like it was above. So now I have 2 improper fractions. This is exactly what I want. The next part's relatively easy. All I need to do when multiplying fractions is multiply the top numbers by each other and the bottom numbers by each other. So, top numbers by each other. Actually, before I do that, I have a negative number times a negative number. What does that mean? My answer is going to be, So it's definitely going to be positive. So I can write the positive sign in, but we know it doesn't really matter. If I just leave it blank, it's assumed the number is positive. So we don't have to write the positive sign in. You can if you like. We're going to multiply 25 times 31. So 25 times 31. I can't even do that in my head. There we go. 775. So 775. That's a big number. Then we're going to multiply the bottom numbers. 6 times 4. Anyone know? Good. 24. Okay. So I have a large fraction. The question doesn't say you have to simplify. We can simplify this fraction. Let's think about it for a second. Okay, so it looks like this is the lowest this fraction goes. So you can leave your answer. I want you guys to leave it in fraction form since we're working with fraction. 775 over 24. That's multiplying fractions. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball, and I'm going to add something to this. I want to divide this now by 7 over 2. Okay, so I've added this to the question. The red part is new. It wasn't part of the question. But we now have, call this 2f.1. Okay? So I've added a new question to this. Now, when we are dividing fractions, what we need to do, so I'm going to rewrite this question, 775. I don't like how the view is. That's better. 775 over 24 divided by 7 over 2. When we divide fractions, what we need to do is we actually have to turn it into a multiplication question. And in order to do that, I have to flip the second fraction, the other term. So I'm going to write it in red what I'm talking about. I'm going to change this division sign into a multiplication sign, and I'm going to flip these two numbers. So in red, this is what I'm hoping to do. 775 over 24, that's still the same fraction. Here's the process, okay? Our division sign now becomes a multiplication sign, and I flip these two numbers. It becomes 2 over 7. Now, we already know the multiplication rules. We've gone over them before. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. And with our multiplication rules, we multiply the top numbers by each other and the bottom numbers by each other. So, when we go to multiply these, 775 is going to be 0, 5. Is that right? There we go. And 24 times 7, is that 148? 68? Thanks, guys. 168. And there we go. That's the division part, okay? So we actually broke this into two questions. The first part, that was multiplying fractions, and the second part under here was dividing fractions. Okay, guys? Okay, so we're adding and subtracting fractions. In order to add and subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. It technically doesn't have to be the lowest common denominator, but it usually makes it easiest to work with if it's the lowest common denominator. So right now I have three different denominators. The denominator is the bottom number. I have a 5, a 4, and a 10. I need a common denominator between these. Many of you guys will probably be able to do this in your head. I'm going to show you a little process in order to do this, okay? So do it in green. We're going to find the multiples of 5, 4, and 10. You guys would have done this a long time ago, okay? So multiples are just this number, and we're working up the sheet. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just going up in order, okay? So I'm writing out all the multiples of 5. 5 times 1 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. Multiples of 10, 10, 20, 30. Okay. I need to find a common denominator between them. Now, there may be more than one. They don't show up as more than one in this one. But I'm looking for a common number. If I look through this, 5 hits 20, 4 hits 20, and 10 hits 20. And in fact, it happens to be the lowest one. The next one would be 40. They all actually hit 40. And I could use 40. It's just I end up working with larger numbers, and sometimes it's not as easy to work with in my head. Okay? So what I need to do is I know my denominator needs to be 40. So I'm going to rewrite this question down here. Plus. Minus 7 over 10. Okay? I know this needs to be 40, so I have to multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction. I need to make the bottom of the fraction 40, but whatever I do to the bottom of the fraction, I have to do to the top. So, in order to get 40, why do I keep saying that? 20, there you go. I need to make 5 into 20. In order to do that, 5 multiplied by 4 makes 20. So I take 5 times 4, and because I did that to the bottom, I have to do it to the top also. So, I get 20 on the bottom, and what is negative 3 times 4? Negative 12. So there's our first fraction. It's still technically the same fraction, just has a different denominator. Do the same thing for each other one. Now I have 4. That needs to become 20. So 4 times 5 gave us 20. So I need to multiply the bottom by 5 and the top by 5. I get 20 on the bottom. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And finally, extend the page. I hate when it does that. Finally, I need to make 10 20. That means I got to multiply 10 by 2, and I have to do 7 by 2 also. So I get subtract 14 over 20. Okay. So someone mentioned, they asked, now that we know our answer, because the denominators are all the same, our answer in the end, I'm going to do this in 2 steps, just to let you know, is definitely going to be out of 20. They asked, can we cross the bottoms out and just work with the top numbers? If you want to, that's fine. Just make sure, once you get your answer, whatever it is, for the top number, you include it as a fraction and keep that 20, okay? If you don't put that 20 in, you don't have the right answer. So, I'm going to simplify this one actually again, so I'm going to make this one more step. If you guys notice, again I have an integer and another integer, positive and a negative. What can I combine those two to make? Just a negative. Remember, a positive times a negative is a negative. So, this question will be written as negative 12, 20, subtract 15 over 20, minus 14 over 20. Now again, if you don't understand the simplifying part and you know what to do from up here, that's fine. You can do that. I'm just simplifying the question a little. Now, assume all these negatives apply to the numbers on top. Okay? So I have negative 12, subtract 15. Anyone know? Yeah. Negative 27 over 20. Subtract 14 over 20. What is negative 27? Subtract 14. Good. So, if you guys notice, for all that work, we end up with negative 41 over 20. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm just going to quickly show you improper to a mixed. So, I have 14 over 3 right now. So this is an improper fraction. This is our improper. And I need to turn it into a mixed fraction. In order to do this, this question actually says 14 divided by 3. Okay? So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put over here on the side 14 divided by 3. I'm going to divide these two numbers. So 3 goes into 14 how many times? 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down, subtract, we get 2. And I have a remainder. We're not working with decimals when we do mixed, okay? Always have a remainder. So my remainder is 2. Right now I have the 3 numbers. Sorry, not the 3. We have our numbers that are going to go into this, okay? So, the number we divided by, which is our denominator over here, when we do a mixed fraction, it's still going to be the denominator of the fraction part, okay? So our 3 is going to be the denominator part. The number 4 that we discovered, it goes in 4 times, that's going to be our whole number, okay? So the whole number is now 4. And finally, the top part of the fraction, the numerator, is going to be our remainder, the 2. So the top part of the fraction is the 2. So I color-coded it here. When you do all the division with the remainder, the 3 is the denominator, the 4 is the whole number, and the 2 is the number on top. So I'll rewrite it again. So you ended up with 4 and 2 over 3.